Right now on No More Down Low. Still not sold on the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell? Then just wait till you hear this.
I was dating a woman at the time, and it was my first mature relationship. And I took the letter and I hid it in my footlocker. My roommates went into my footlocker, stole my letter, took that letter and turned it into my commanding officer. And I'm standing in front of his desk at attention, and he reads me my Miranda rights. And he asked me, "Are you a homosexual?"
She was one of the real faces of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I'm Janora McDuffie. Evelyn Thomas breaks her silence in a No More Down Low exclusive.
Hi, I'm Dale Madison.
Then you may not remember his name, but chances are he just might have sold you something.
I love being able to go out and people say, "Oh my God, you're that guy from QVC."
And I'm Kendall Hogan. And just what does Dale Madison reveal that proves it really does get better?
He says, "I walked past your room, and if I had a gun, I would have killed you."
Then director Faith Trimel explains how she nearly lost everything to make her award-winning film, Family.
And people are like, "You need to get a job and some medical benefits," you know what I'm saying?
Did he just say what I thought he said?
And in Straight Talk, Wyllisa has her first date with a man who is truly open and honest.
So you played with Barbie and Ken?
Today we are coming to you from the heart of the African American art scene here in Los Angeles called Leimert Park.
And we're going to take you on an exclusive tour coming up on No More Down Low.
Everybody, and welcome back to another edition of our show. Today I am so happy to have our guest co-host, whose handsome face and physique you might recognize from many fitness shows and even the e-reality series The Girls Next Door. We've got Mr. Kendall Hogan.
Wow, what an introduction. How nice. You're just too kind.
I try.
It's actually my pleasure to be here working with you and
Glad
to be
to
a
have
part
you.
of No More Down Low. So let's get started. Now, right before the holidays, we finally got rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. But I bet you didn't know that black women, more than any other group, were discharged under this law. Well, right now, Mark Noble introduces us to Evelyn Thomas.
No longer will tens of thousands of Americans in uniform be asked to live a lie or look over their shoulder in order to serve the country that they love.
Let me hear you stand up there.
About a month ago, I actually wrote a letter to Michelle Obama and President Barack Obama because African American women of color are the most impacted by the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy.
December 22nd, 2010, President Obama signs the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, setting the stage for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning people to serve openly in the military, despite opposition, including the most vocal Senator John McCain.
I know the military very well, and I know what's being done. And what is being done is that they're not seeking out people who are gay.
The behavior and actions of John McCain are expected. It wasn't new it wasn't a new information for me.
A repeal that changed history for the future. But what of those LGBTQ military personnel, particularly females like Evelyn Thomas, who's become the face of ongoing discrimination in the military?
I remember the day that I swore in, he asked me two questions. Are you a homosexual? Have you ever participated in homosexual activity? And for the first time in my life, I knew who I was and whom I loved was considered illegal.
Evelyn Thomas enlisted in the military in 1986 for a total of 6 years, first in the Army, then the Marines. According to Thomas, her service in the latter branch would be the downfall of her military life.
I was dating a woman at the time, and it was my first mature relationship. And I took the letter and I hid it in my footlocker. My roommates went into my footlocker, stole my letter, took that letter and turned it into my commanding officer. And I'm standing in front of his desk at attention, and he reads me my Miranda rights. And the first thing I thought is, what crime did I commit? And he asked me, "Are you a homosexual?" And the first thought that went through my mind is, how did he know?
All eyes were on Thomas, her privacy virtually non-existent.
They actually transferred me to an isolated area weapons field training battalion because I was considered a problem Marine. He basically told me to watch my step and be aware of who I hang around with, and I refused to do it. I walked away from it, honorably discharged.
Thomas, a high school teacher, is also the founder of the Sanctuary Project, with advocates for military personnel and their families who have been impacted by DADT.
It was established after the tragic death of Seaman August Provost, stationed at Camp Pendleton. While he was on guard duty, someone came into the guard shack, forced him on the ground, handcuffed his hands, shot him 3 times, and poured flammable liquid over his body. After his tragic death, his family came out and said that he was being harassed and discriminated against because of his perceived sexual orientation.
We stand here today in solidarity.
That act motivated Evelyn to turn from military outcast to activist for LGBTQ soldiers, particularly African American same-gender loving military personnel. She was amongst the LGBTQ activists to handcuff themselves to the front gate of the White House. And now with this signing, in Evelyn's opinion, this is just the first of many steps.
We have to provide some type of protection for those LGBT people who begin to serve openly. If I had an opportunity to re-enlist in the armed forces, would I do it all again? No, but I do support people who do wish to go into the armed forces.
Wow, I think you would agree with me that Evelyn is one brave woman. If you want more information about Evelyn and her organization, the Sanctuary Project, click on the resources link right here on the No More Down Low website. Now let's go check in with Janora. I believe she's out shopping somewhere. Janora.
Okay, Kendall, I'm shopping, but I'm also working. I've actually, while I've been out here, met this brother, Gemini, who has been in the Leimert Park community for over 20 years. He was talking to me, schooling me a little bit about the history with such passion. What makes this place so special?
Basically, it's Leimert Park. The culture here, the poetry, the jazz, the drum circle, the art walk, all nationalities can come here and experience it.
Well, thank you so much for a little bit of your time, Gemini. Let's talk about our next story now. Now, Dale Madison is one that lives by being true to oneself, but he's also a survivor, just like Leimert Park. Check it out.
My one claim to fame was that I launched the first all-African themed product hour on QVC.
Hi, I'm Dale Madison, and you're watching our very first all-day fashion parade on the QVC Fashion Channel.
At the height of the 1990s home shopping network craze, Dale Madison ruled. He was only one of a handful of African American hosts and just one of a smaller group who were openly gay.
I hated it and loved it. I loved being on television, and I loved being able to go out and people said, oh my God, you're that guy from QVC. But I hated the fact that I had very little control over what I could sell. My greatest joy was selling fashion.
And during that time, he also launched a successful line of African dolls. But not all of the items Dale had to sell won him over.
I'll never forget when they forced me to do an hour of basketball t-shirts. And is that the right word to call them? The things that the basketball players wear, jerseys, yes. I just think about that day holding that t-shirt, just kind of going, it's a number, buy it. That's, you know, I couldn't tell you, you know, Michael Jordan's number if my life depended on it. You brought back such a horrifying memory.
But Dale's life journey had other horrifying moments too, like the day his father confirmed that he was gay.
I'll never forget it. I came home with a hickey on my neck, and my father said, what girl put a hickey on your neck? I said, or boy. And he walked out the house, turned around, 20 minutes later, he came back in and he said, you got to get the hell up out of my house.
He was only 18, living in Baltimore, and had nowhere to go.
He says, I walked past your room, and if I had a gun, I would have killed you. And I said, no, I can't stay here. I can't stay here.
And not unlike many rejected gay and lesbian youth, he even thought of the unthinkable.
I tried to commit suicide twice when I was 18, twice in 1976 when my father put me out of the house. If I had succeeded, where would I be?
So these are my handmade dolls, which is made up with mud cloth and cowrie shells.
Today, you might say that Dale Madison is a Renaissance man. He's an activist, entrepreneur, collector, writer, actor, and author. And to top it all, he just received a master's degree in education. Now, he just released this book, Sissy Sammy and the Land of West Hollywood, 90069.
Once upon a time, in the land of Compton, there lived a little boy named Sammy.
Sissy Sammy is my story of hope for LGBT kids, to realize that, you know, you may be bullied today, but tomorrow, if you can make it through all of this, you know, you could, you know, become successful. You could become somebody important. Your life is important. It looks like a little kid's book, but it's really, I call it an adult fairy tale.
And how does he answer the critics who might say that he's promoting the quote-unquote homosexual agenda?
The Christian right can raise their eyebrows or fuss whatever they want to, but you know what? Y'all got y'all issue and I got mine. And I'm out here to try to save lives. It does get better.
Make no mistake about it, Dale Madison is a living testimony for all young people that if you hang in there, life really does get better.
That's true, Janora. I mean, his entire life's journey is what the anti-bullying campaign has been all about. Well, let's switch gears, guys. Janora and I are going to take you to one of the best barbecue joints in LA. It just so happens to be right here in Leimert Park. But also coming up, director Faith Trimel shows us the not-so-glamorous side of family.
And talk about keeping them honest. What in the world does Wyllisa's first date do to have her say this?
What you talking about?
All that and more when we come back. Stick around. All right, welcome back to No More Down Low. I am Janora McDuffie, and we are here in the Leimert Park District, which is the center of African American culture and arts just a few miles south of downtown Los Angeles. Now, I know you have heard of the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but what about the Leimert Park Walk of Fame? This entire sidewalk is lined with plaques that pay honor and tribute to some of the greatest African American musicians and artists of our time. How about that? All right, I know I had a handsome co-host somewhere. Where did he go? I bet he's out shopping this time. Kendall?
All right, Janora, you got me. I am shopping. There's so many great shops here in Leimert Park. How could I not shop? Well, I'm here now at the Zambezi Bazaar, which is a great store, and I'm here with Jackie. Jackie, tell me about your store.
Well, Kendall, we've been here for 18 years, and we've just been loving every minute of it.
You even hit up on Valentine's Day. You're ready.
Black love is always ready.
Thank you very much, Jackie. I love your place. Well, guys, coming up, director Faith Trimel introduces us and gives us a little preview of her film, Family. And she also lets us know the life of the independent filmmaker is not always paved in gold.
I don't want to make people think that I'm crazy, but when these voices of these characters call to be made, it is a cacophony that will not end.
No, she's not crazy. She's brilliant. And that's how critics describe director Faith Trimel's award-winning comedy drama, Family.
I want us to make a pact to come out. What? Come on, guys, don't leave me hanging. I don't know. I'm in.
Okay, fine. All right.
Family is a coming-of-age story that centers on a group of closeted lesbians who make a pact to disclose to family and friends that they are gay.
When I'm not creating, when I'm not making these films, when I'm not in the process of presenting them, creating them, or having some engagement with them, I really feel very solemn. I feel lost, and there's no compensation. There's not a pretty enough girl. There's not, with the exception of my girlfriend, of course. No, there's just nothing that will take the place of bringing these voices into the world.
Mom, Dad,
I need to talk to both of y'all. I need to do this now before I lose my nerve.
And while this writer, producer, director, and actor never lost her nerve while making this film, she says she nearly lost everything else.
Sold my car, was on the bus. So I'm eating cream-style corn. I'm back to ramen noodles back like in college, freshman days. I would edit 18 hours a day. I am literally sleeping where I'm editing. Every dime that I would get, I would just reinvest in that film.
So, I mean, what does this mean?
I don't know. I can't think straight right now.
And people are like, you need to get a job and some medical benefits, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you need to. Where are your kids?
But if films were kids, then you might say that Family is Faith's second child. And just like any proud parent, she wants everyone, gay and straight, to know all about it.
I just can't seem to do it. I just couldn't be gay.
If you don't tell your sister, I cannot marry you.
I'm a gay athlete.
There's no such thing as a black gay athlete.
It wasn't supposed to happen like this, but this is who I am.
It all sounds really, really sad and everybody's hurting.
Stop it, Tonya!
So I just want folks to know that, you know, I really did do this as kind of like a bit of a love letter to say that I do understand, particularly with family, how it is to be gay and to be and to have to come out, and the fears that you face and the courage that it takes. And I will sacrifice whatever it is to do it.
You thought you were the only one keeping secrets.
Faith is self-distributing her family DVD online. To get your copy, go to familythefilm.net. Come on, guys, let's support our filmmakers.
That's right, Kendall. Now, our girl, Wyllisa.
Oh, yeah.
So how about she had a date right here in Leimert Park recently at the Lucy Florence Coffee House.
And she asked the question, would you date a bisexual man? On this edition of Straight Talk.
I can't wait to see this.
Oh, boy.
I guess you could say he had me at hello. So I met Stephen Simon.
I'm the AIDS coordinator for the city of Los Angeles. So I work with the mayor and city council on the city's policies and prevention.
So he really intrigued me with the stuff he said.
We fund about $1 million of HIV prevention every year, mostly in high impact communities, women in particular, women of color in particular.
I could talk to this man about anything.
Now, I'm curious, how did it go from being a gay disease to into the Black community?
It's always been in the Black community, we just didn't know it as much.
I'm a sucker for a smart man.
The other myth that comes up is that, you know, it's sort of these bisexual men, it's men on the down low that are creating all of that transition. And you know, we've heard more recently even that from the CDC that that's just simply not true.
He could do no wrong.
It's amazing to me that I speak about sex and sexuality all the time. People don't generally ask me. I think half the room's assuming I'm straight, half the room's assuming I'm gay because I work in HIV.
I don't know what to say.
So when I tell people I actually don't have a gender preference, they don't even know what I'm talking about.
What you talking about?
Have you ever experimented? Have you ever been with a guy? Have you ever been, I mean, what's your thing?
Oh no, well, just like I was saying there, I don't have a gender preference. Actually, I have dated men and women.
Did he just say what I thought he said?
I have dated men and then I have dated women throughout my life, and that's who I am today.
Really?
Absolutely.
Bisexual?
So, like most people who say they're gay, say they knew when they were kids. So when did you know you like boys and girls?
I knew as a kid.
Really?
Absolutely. There's no question in my mind.
This is a first for me. Somebody actually not lying on the first day.
So you played with Barbie and Ken?
Straight people don't seem to understand it, and gay people don't seem to understand it sometimes. Well, it kind of comes back to this down low myth. Down low to me is about not being open about who you are. So if anyone asks me if I want to down low, my answer is no, because I'm very out and open about it.
He certainly got my attention with that.
If you don't tell somebody that up front, when are they going to find out? When are you going to be honest about it? It's going back into hiding who you are. And I know I personally can't do that.
I wanted to hear what he had to say.
My hope is that we change enough in our community that we don't make people want to hide who they really are. Because it's dishonest. It is dishonest.
Wow, this is fascinating.
I do hope more women have the clarity to ask and more men have the honesty to answer with truth.
We need more brothers like him that's honest and straight up with a sister.
Come at it without being judgmental. If you walk into a conversation and say, oh, I heard, you know, brother over there is on the down low, that's horrible. Brother sitting across from you is not gonna be open and honest with you.
So would I go out with him again? Yeah, probably so. But the real question is, would you go out with a bisexual man who was upfront and honest about who he was from the beginning? Now that's the real question. For Straight Talk, I'm Wyllisa.
Well, all right, Wyllisa.
Talk about the truth will set you free.
Right?
Right? Here's what's coming up on our next show.
On the next No More Down Low, a Black history lesson like none other. It's a rare historical collection of photographic images of same-gender loving men of color like you've never seen them before. If these pictures could say 1,000 words, what would they say? The experts reveal all.
All that and more on the next edition of No More Download, so be sure to join us. And remember, for more information on any of our segments, you can click the resource link on our website.
All right, Janora, because you're so nice to let me share this microphone. I hooked you up.
Yeah?
Phillips Barbecue, right here, Leimert Park, got you all kinds of food.
That's what I'm talking about. Got some ribs, some chicken, some coleslaw, mac and cheese. Yeah, you can come back anytime, Kendall.
But don't even worry about eating it, because you know what? We're going to hit that drum circle over there. We're going to work it out.
That's what's up.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, so from Leimert Park in Los Angeles, California, reminding you to spread love and not hate, I'm Janora McDuffie.
I'm Kendall Hogan, and thank you for joining us.
See you next time.
Let's eat.
Let's eat.
All right. I'm waiting on the ribs.
Yeah.